I used to be somebody before that freak Caillou sent his army south and ruined everything. We had a nice racket going on in the land of the Freelords, or what the rest of the Flaness calls the Bandit Kingdoms. We had a territory we ran, and we hustled and stole what we could from who we could. Sure, we fought amongst ourselves, and I'd just as soon stick my dagger into someone from the Freelords as anywhere else. But we always banded together when an outside force threatened all of our businesses. But all that changed when Ayus came a-calling. Half of the Freelords joined forces with Ayus to save their skins, and the other half got wiped out or sent packing to the other lands, all down into the rift. I was no hero, and neither were any of my mates. So after the massacre of Steelbone Meadows, we did what any guys in our situation would have done. We hightailed it out of there. The only problem is that everywhere we went, there were old enemies waiting. After finally getting corralled by the Ernst soldiers, I was left to rot in a dungeon, waiting for them to decide what to do with me. The way the gods look at us, I don't think we're gonna like what it is they have in store.
Let me pull that up.
And we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome!
The end, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday.
That's it. I was too busy shuffling some things on my computer screen. Like, somebody else say something, man.
I would have said I was just so excited to be in front of all of our viewers here today that it just overwhelmed him so much.
All right, on the three, we'll do it over. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hey!
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome. All right. Yes, welcome once again. And actually, in all honesty, thank you and for returning in to watch Return to the Bandit Kingdoms. And back after our 1 week hiatus. So we are all here now once again, live and ready to shake things up. So, as always, to start off the great evening's events, we're going to go around and we'll introduce everyone. I am, I the more I think about it, the more I'm liking this Will DM stuff instead of DM Will.
I think you should have it, yeah.
Will DM. Yeah. I think that's good, right? Because then people can wear shirts. Will DM.
I could change it on the overlays too.
All right. Well, all right. If you do that, it'll be a great present to me, and I'll be All right. So anyway, first we're going to start over to my. I do believe if you're watching, that'd be over to my right. That is Jairus. Jairus. Go ahead and tell us who you're playing and who you are, and a little bit something about yourself. Favorite color? I don't care. Something like that. That's cool.
That is, I have no idea. I'm Jairus. I'm playing Raleigh. He is a half-elf. He is a sorcerer. He can do magic. He doesn't know he can do magic. He's a really nice guy. He's a thief, and he's a liar, and he's a murderer. But he usually feels bad about it.
And that's the important thing.
He just wants to be friends. He's always sorry. He's so sorry.
So good.
Oh, favorite color is blue.
Blue. Now, as well, we did have a little bit of traffic on the Return to the Bandit Kingdoms Facebook page, and so if anybody has any questions or anything along those lines, feel free to go ahead, and it's if you go there, just type in Return to the Bandit Kingdoms. We are what comes up. If you got questions, go ahead and join up, and then you can just put it down. We'll answer them to the best of our questions. We did have a shout out from one of our viewers, Frank Creed, and he had some questions we answered, but he had one specifically for you, Jairus, about Raleigh and his coat, and I don't know if you can answer it or not.
I cannot. I mean, the story is there. I just don't want to spoil it for you.
And that's fair.
It's a tale.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Yes.
Keep listening.
So in other words, Frank, you'll find out. Okay, so now we're going to go down from Jairus there to our wonderful man, Phil. Phil, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know what you're playing. Give us a wild fact if you care to about yourself or what have you, and take it away.
Hi guys, I'm Phil. I'm playing Norjor, the Furbolg Druid, as usual. He is from a tribe of reclusive Furbolgs that hang out in the Tingles, which is one of the forests in the Bandit Kingdoms. And he's been assigned a quest that he is currently seeking to fulfill. That's pretty much it.
That is it. And he is a wild man, a partier at heart. Actually, I would say if anybody is the conscience of the party, it's definitely got to be Norjor.
Yeah.
Or Wyndon.
Right.
Wyndon,
That's true.
Wyndon's
the
rational part.
That's
of the
fair.
party.
That's fair. That's probably that's a better way to
Exactly.
put it. Rational is better. Yeah,
the
that's.
party.
Yeah.
I think as the payday
point.
goes up, Wyndon's morals go down.
Yeah,
Given the characters that we have in this party, I think two consciences isn't a bad thing either.
Sure.
fair enough. Yeah, we'll definitely go with that. And with that, that's a beautiful segue. We're going to go right into Steve. And Steve, go ahead and introduce yourself and introduce your character who you're playing.
I'm Steve. My favorite color is blue as well. So,
Oh, nice.
House Ravenclaw, by the way, for those who like Harry Potter. I'm playing Wyndon. He is a bandit, sort of, but he is all about self-improvement and making his life better for himself. So,
All right.
and I did have a question addressed, which I can answer. The question was, what book is he reading whenever he has spare moment to read? And it's actually a basic sort of elementary battle magic book that he spent almost all of his money and influence in acquiring before everything went completely crazy. So that's what he's got.
All right. All right. Then next to him is, I don't know if we've lost Michael or not.
He's back.
He's fading in and out.
There he is. Okay.
In character and out of character.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, a black screen is kind of appropriate for Three Toes, so I was cool with that too. All right, so now we have Michael. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let everybody know who you're playing.
Yeah, I am Michael, and I'm playing Three Toes, who is just looking for a friend, a little bit misunderstood type of guy. Likes to go off and hide a little bit, so
He's shy.
and pretty shy. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's the one. We'll use that. Why not? Sure. Okay. All right. Last but not least. Oh no,
yeah.
Go ahead. Good. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Oh, he just disappeared.
Wow.
Look at that, into the shadows.
In
Yeah,
character
smoke cloud.
already.
Stealth.
There it is. Dun-dun-dun. Okay. All right. Last but not least is the illustrious producer of the show, Adam. Go ahead and tell him who you're playing and something neat about yourself if you want.
Hey everybody, Adam here. I am playing Silver Wolf, the half-elf ranger. He's kind of a bit on the rough side, prone to bits of anger and violence. He's trying to be a good guy, just not working out so well here so far. And the more he gets captured, the angrier he's getting. And it seems like we get captured every other session. So,
yeah, sort of, almost.
I mean, that was kind of the second time was kind of on him. To be fair,
it's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
It was
an avoidable capture.
Totally. I will have to go with Norjor on this one and say if everybody just listened to Norjor, maybe none of that would have happened.
That's fair.
He's still salty.
It's
Look
fair.
at him.
Silver Wolf does love a good mystery, though.
Yeah, but if that hadn't to happen, who knows when, if ever, lost family members would have found each other.
It's true. There was
Just
a
gonna
lot
throw
of.
that
there
Oh,
was-
man. That's
yeah,
right.
That was our Hallmark Channel episode.
I forgot all about that.
He forgot
The
all about it.
purple dog is my brother. That's exciting. Oh,
Oh.
it's
And then
Excellent.
something interesting about me. This is true. When I was a kid, from 4 to 6, I was a regular on Sesame Street.
Get out of town.
No joke. And I'm still waiting for the Tickle Me Adam doll.
Right?
See, you press it, and the first time you press it, goes, okay, all right. Then the next time you press it, I'm like, look, all right, now we're gonna sit down and talk about good touch, bad touch. So far, nobody has gotten back to me from my.
Okay,
from my
for all of
request.
you who are watching, I did not know that, and I have a bazillion questions now for him, but I will wait to ask them. And God, there were so many jokes just right into my head too, and I'm not going to use them.
we can have a separate stream.
There you go.
On a different level.
That is
Return to the
awesome.
Bandit Kingdoms after dark.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Okay.
need some season and episode numbers because
I only have pictures. I have one tape that's on beta, which I'm obviously never been
Beta.
able to. Yeah, it gives you an idea how old I am. But I've never seen it. I don't know if it's the first episode. I don't know if it's all the episodes. If it's a couple episodes, I have no idea.
Nice.
One day I should probably get that.
Yeah, man, that's claim to fame. You never know. No matter what happens to you, you got that Sesame Street thing coming.
Yeah.
to play.
people need to know.
It's true. I was living the fast lane as a child actor back in the day.
Right.
On the hard streets of Sesame.
I am, of course, Will DM. Let's see, I use it. Is this link in there? You think? All right. Anyway, I am the Dungeon Master. Did you? Okay. All right. And I will be your guide. I should riff on the old D&D cartoon some kind of way. That'd be kind of cool. Something about me, since we're going to theatrical things. The first role I ever played was Rip Van Winkle in a middle school play, and I designed my own costume. And for dust, because when you wake up, you've been sleeping for a long time, I used flour. And I had to use too much of it. So I'm over here, I'm doing this, I thought it'd be cool. And then there's a big cloud of flour that's all over me because I put too much on my clothes, and I start sneezing and start coughing and whatnot. So, yeah, it was spectacular. It worked out pretty well. So, visually, it was awesome. We'll put it that way. All right, so let me go ahead and I will dive into the recap, let everybody know where the story is up to this point, and then we will dive right into the game. Our intrepid band of would-be adventurers have been what's the word again, Steve? You guys are what?
Press ganged? We're press ganged opportunists.
That's right. Have been turned into press ganged opportunists by a mysterious figure that goes by the name of Tobold Gurner, which they do believe works for Countess Belasica out of the county of Ernst. Unfortunately for them, part of the job, well, I wouldn't even say part of the job, as they were dwelling in a prison, their souls were taken from them. They were kicked out into the world, and said that if they wanted to get these souls back in 13 months, they had to go back into the Bandit Kingdoms and cause as much trouble for Ayuz and his boys as they could in that time, and they would deem whether or not it was enough to win their souls back to them. To do this, they were given over to a guide by the name of Jenna Pine, and Jenna has taken them across the Artansmi River into the Bandit Kingdoms, and the first place they go into is Dimri, which is still an independent kingdom within the Bandit Kingdoms. In Dimri, they run into a very mysterious thing. There's a crater that they find that's still smoking with a pretty large guy. He's definitely possibly of a giantkin type size, and full plate armor that is scorched and burned, and the body is burned beyond recognition. But a Silver Wolf feels very compelled to go in and investigate this, and he finds a ring, a signet ring with a stylized letter K, and also there was a sign that was on the outside of the crater, put there, and I'm totally riffing off of a famous 80s movie, and it said there could be only one. And Then you guys ran into some Zvarts, which tried to ambush them at the site, but they were immediately rescued by the cohorts of Dimri, who
The
then
Zvarts were rescued, maybe.
where you were put into not chains this time or anything, but you were taken prisoner and led to a fort where the Dimri soldiers and scouts were at. There is where, under a zone of truth, anybody remember who the Dimri guy was? Brother,
Fucking guy.
you got it.
I think that was
Or
his
that could-
business
Taken
card, right?
prisoner, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Brother Hollister.
Brother Hollister.
Yes,
I
Brother
would've-
Hollister.
Write it down this time.
Yeah, he put you guys to the question, and in that question, he just wanted to find out what you were actually really doing there. And with the truth, he was satisfied because there is no love of, even though there's a peace treaty currently, there is no love between Ayus and Dimri at all. So, but during that session, Silverwolf and Raleigh found out that they're actually related. The elven side of both of them is part of a notorious elven family called the...
Nadies.
Thank you. I was going to say it's your guys' family.
I know. I actually came up with the name and I couldn't remember it for a moment.
I know. Right? Okay, so, all right.
I'm also in the process of changing your name to will.dm.
Oh, I see it. Look at that. All right. Okay, cool. All right, I'm down with that. Okay, so they were lodged there for the evening and fed, treated not badly, but not overly well. Just kind of basically ignored and kept an eye on them to make sure they didn't do anything. But Brother Hollister was satisfied with what they were doing. And in the morning, he was getting ready to... he said that he would actually have his men escort them to the border, which the reason Jenna has brought you guys here and you crossed over into the Bandit Kingdom where you did is because Jenna is taking you into...
Some orc town, which I'm not happy about. I forget the name of it.
She's taking me into the land of Jarhas. It's Jarhas, and it's you can say Jorhas or Jarhas. I've looked at how it's Jor.
It's
But,
Jairus. I get it all the time.
Yeah. He went to Jairus. So that's where we're going to pick up right now. You guys, it is the break of dawn. It's the morning. There was a banging on your door by some guards letting you know that your horses are ready and to get ready and come out so that you can be escorted. So you guys are in that currently inside the because remember they gave you like a small barracks. And you're getting your guys are getting your stuff together and getting dressed up and what have you. So, all right. So
first things first. Raleigh wakes up, and it's the first time he's like put himself together since everything went down with the orcs. And he takes off his jacket and his coat, his beautiful Jackson Pollock masterpiece painting of a coat. And he looks at it, and it's all stained in blood, and there's a big gash down the right down the chest. Right. He lays it down on his bed, and he looks at his vest, and he's got this bright blue, very vibrant vest, and that same thing, blood and big gash. And he takes that off, and then his shirt, and same thing. And he looks at them all, and he rubs his hands together and starts casting prestidigitation, gets them all clean. And he takes a deep breath, and he blows into his hand, and as he blows into his hands, they turn the color blue, as if he's blowing them blue, and this energy is glowing in his hands, and he carefully reaches down towards his jacket, and he loses it. And he takes a second again, does it again, and this time manages to bring the energy down, and he places it on his jacket, and then on his vest, and on his shirt. Good as new. That's the mending cantrip as cast by Raleigh.
Aha. And you don't have to say what spell you're using unless I ask.
Okay. Well, I saw something like, what the hell's going on?
No. I mean, go ahead, because if I think if I know what you're doing, then I'll just let it go for what it is. But you don't need to break that. Is that breaking the fourth wall, basically, essentially, when you just go back?
I think it is. I want to make sure you guys all know I'm not just like thinking I can invent
pulling shit out of your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm the guy that brings you back around when that stuff starts happening. It's all right.
like the old D&D comic books where they said, "Oh, I lost some hit points."
Yes, exactly. Dude, D&D comic books, forget that. Remember the D&D movie with Jeremy Irons in it? They said, "Oh, I'm first level." I was like, "Oh gosh, I've never seen that cringing." Okay, so as you go through this, Jenna actually comes over and she watches. She doesn't get up in your line of vision. She kind of comes behind you, and she sits there and she's just watching and whatnot. And then after you get it all done, I take it you go ahead and you put it on and
start getting dressed and
get all fancied up and
start trying to fix my hair.
Well, Sugar, I have to say, if you was half as experienced with that glaive of yours as you are with your creative magic, maybe you wouldn't have got that. Maybe you should think twice before go jumping into a fight.
That sounds like terrible advice.
Well, if you say so. All right, boys, come on. Get your stuff together. Time to go.
You guys might actually notice there's a very faint ghost of what almost might be a smile on Wyndham's face, flitting in and out throughout the morning.
Oh, that's not it. Well, Jenna doesn't really care enough. Neither does Three Toes, so it's up to the other guys here. Okay. So
insight? Can I gain any?
Sure, go for it.
I probably noticed, but I'm not going to do it.
See what you get.
I mean, it's not. I don't anticipate it being good. With
that's fine.
Yeah. Let's see. You never know.
It could be. It could be great. It could be spectacular. You never know.
It could be a 19. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
6 for Raleigh. Well done.
I maybe noticed the smile.
Well, I mean, it's not full on smiling, of course, but there's a hint of it. Nordra might have noticed it.
Okay.
Nope.
I just imagine that you're in a better mood for some reason. I'm not gonna pry.
Yeah. There you go.
Nordra's always smiling, pretty much.
Right, I know.
He's always smiling or baring his teeth. It's one of the two.
So hard to tell the difference.
I know, right? That's part of the beauty of it.
All right, so Jenna just grabs her pack, throws it over her shoulder, and goes outside the barracks and is standing there waiting. Outside the barracks, you see her. Anybody who looks out, she actually is talking with one of the Dimri guys. This is not one of those heavily armored individuals that were part of the contingent that came upon the scorched part where you found the dead guy. Well, he looks more like, let's say, like the archers that were with him. He's got definitely the coat of arms tunic on, but he's wearing leathers for the most part. He definitely looks like a man by his bowed legs that spends a lot of time in the saddle. So, and they're just conversing.
Maybe to hear anything of what they're saying?
Yeah, sure. They're not really trying to hide it. She's asking him about, well, where are we going? And he's like, well, we're taking to the border. And she's like, okay, well, I'm actually going up to Kinemeet. So it's like, all right, well, we're going to do this. So it's basically just they're negotiating where the path that they're going to be taking. So nothing in particular.
Raleigh would take her breakfast order. If she wants anything to eat.
While everyone's doing this, I have a piece of leather. I'm just cutting into two thin strands and just sort of tying it together and sort of knotting it up.
Okay.
Jenna, can I get you anything? You want a coffee, some eggs, some dead pig? Love dead pig. Bacon. Sorry.
You know what, Sugar? If you want to grab me some breakfast of the road, I would appreciate it. You are just the sweetest, don't you?
Yeah, he does a very low bow. Heads off.
So, Silverwolf, you in arts and crafts, or what's the story here?
I ignore that question.
Fair enough.
Man, Wyndon, nobody seems to give a shit. You're smiling and happy. Nobody cares. You even talk to him directly.
When I'm done, which probably takes a good part of the the morning as we're getting ready, I tie it around and add it to my collection of the other 3 leather bracelets that I have on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is it a trophy of some sort?
I just look at Wyndon for a moment and then pack my gear up.
All right.
There it is.
Then you can feel pretty too.
Mordor's gonna
I
notice
could tell
this and
you
just,
about
like,
some trophies.
I'm sure you could.
Okay. There is an outside breakfast area where the Dimri soldiers are. It's like an outdoor mess hall is essentially what it is. So you can definitely go over there and get. I'm assuming that's where Raleigh's going to go and get his stuff, but that's where pretty much the majority of the guys are currently. They're just eating, and then after they eat in like shifts, and then they'll go off, and it seems like they're going to go on patrol, or they're going to go do something. Some other cut down trees, do whatever the hell the soldiers are doing out here right now. So, this is kind of no. There's actually quite a few trees in Dimri, so they're cutting some trees. Sure, why not? So, and then so after that, and then if you guys don't have anything else to do, then they get you your horses. Well, you guys didn't have horses, but they definitely are going to let you ride horses of theirs. So essentially, it's going to be one Dimri guide, okay, which was the guy that Jenna was talking to, and then it's going to be the 6 of you guys. Okay.
Are they trying to basically expedite us getting out of here? Is that the idea?
Not really. It seems to be more along the lines of Jenna's expediting you guys getting out of here than anything else. She's she seems like she's ready to get going and get out of here. They do hand all of you the guard, the Dimri guard, comes over and gives all of you one of those. It's not really a jerkin. What do they call those overlays where it's like it goes over the top and it's sort of like a poncho, but it ties on the side with the coat of arms?
Oh, like a tunic?
Yeah, but a tunic's got sleeves to it. But you know what I'm talking about. There's a technical name for it.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So
not quite poncho.
Yeah. The not poncho.
Yeah, the medieval poncho. So they give you each one of those, and the guard goes, "Here you go, boys. Go ahead and put these on. It's gonna make you blend in real good. Seem like you're Dimri folk. Don't lay on the keyboard, cat."
Does it fit Nordor?
Actually, he gave you a big one, and yeah, it fits so long as you don't tie it.
Okay.
So Raleigh kind of looks at it and sighs, and he takes off his coat, and he puts it on, and then he puts his coat back on afterwards.
Nordor will look at Raleigh and be like, "That not work."
Raleigh's like, "Well, it's not comfortable, I guess, but I mean, I'm not going to complain."
Yeah, with the rest of us looking proper like, I don't think anybody else is going to pay much attention to him. So it's fine. All right, so you guys get on your horses. They open up the gates. Remember, it was basically earthen wall with wooden earthen mounds with wooden wall around it, wooden gates. Open it up. You guys go out to the countryside. Again, you're out in that Dimri countryside. It is getting what forest there is, because the further towards the Artonsme that you go in Dimri, there's more forest. It's definitely thinning out. It's progressing into that great open plains area that dominates such a big portion of the Bandit Kingdoms. And you guys start riding. As you start riding, the one Dimri guy, the guide, he's taking the front lead. It's not a blistering pace or anything. Jenna drops back a little bit and she draws up alongside Silverwolf. Sugar, we need to have a quick talk. And matter of fact, I think we need to have a quick talk with all of us here. But I needs to know if you're going to be able to keep your temper in check. We are going to a place called Kinemeet where there happens to be quite a few orcs. You going to be able to keep it in your pants, so to speak? I know.
Say, well, you're the one who's deciding to take me into an orc village.
Yeah, but you see, I've kind of got a job, and that job is I have to get you to Rook Roost. Now, you see, things have changed a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with all that, or if you've ever been to Rook Roost before, but it ain't like it used to be there now, Sugar. They don't just let anybody walk up in there. We got to have a reason to kind of get through the gates anymore.
Well, you're going to have to explain why going and talking to orcs is the way to into Rook Roost.
Well, it's not the orcs that are in Rook Roost. See, the orcs that are in Rook Roost are basically, that's just I use as troops. Matter of fact, Kinemeet, well, why we're going to Rook Roost is because I totally messed it up. I was talking about Kinemeet. You go into Rook Roost because that's where your handle is at.
Well, no,
that's why
you're
I'm
right.
in charge.
That's fine. If the only way we can get in is by partnering up with orcs,
well,
I'm going to have a problem with that.
In Kinemeet, there's a half-orc there that used to work for, well, the general. And afterwards, he's no longer in favor, since how the general's dead as can be. But he knows a lot and has a lot of ways into the city. And he's got some official stuff that can't be faked. And that's how we're going to get you boys in.
Does Silverwolf need to actually come into Kinemeet, or can he, be on the outside while we do what we need?
Well, that would be kind of a dangerous thing, seeing as how Kinemeet's really there's not a lot to hide out there, and there's orcs coming and going all the time, and just one angry half-elf stomping around out in the meadows kicking dung. That's a quick way to get murdered.
Sure.
So
I got a way for us to get in there and not draw any kind of attention, but I just got to know if you're going to be able to keep your cool.
All I can do is try.
teach you how to blend in.
So, Jenna, how many orcs are in Kinemeet, if you had to guess? 15? 12?
Thousands.
All right, so about 1,000. Now, Silver Dog, do you think you can kill 1,000 orcs?
No, but I feel like I can kill a few before they get me.
So how many orcs have you killed?
I pull out a little sack.
I was really hoping you were going to do this.
And as I'm writing, I'm just counting, and
Now, who's the creepy one?
There can be more than one creepy person.
It's true.
and I say, well, not all of them are orcs, but
For the record, I don't think you're creepy.
Thanks. So far I've killed 52.
No, not you. I'm talking to 3 toes.
Oh, fair enough.
I think we found Jenna's type. So 52.
I say 52 of Vyuza's forces. Probably about a third of those were orcs.
If you were to live for another 10 years, how many more you think you could kill?
Quite a few.
Well, don't deprive yourself of that by doing something foolish and getting yourself killed today.
I have to say,
hundreds over the course of the next decade.
I have to say, Riley, you surprise me every day. I did not expect that kind of logic to come from this man, but it is solid logic. Well, now, I guess maybe you should look at it this way, Silverwolf. If you go along and play ball and able to keep that demon tucked inside of you, not just roaring out, you're going to get a chance to kill probably way more Vyuza's people than you ever would just go and stomping up to the first orc every time you see him and sticking them. Just saying.
Look, I'll play along. As long as things go the way that you expect them to go,
And why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Of course.
I'll be fine.
Excellent.
Right.
That's all I need to hear. Now, I will not steer you gentlemen wrong. Granted, I was hoping we would be able to avoid the Dimri forces, but I wasn't overly concerned about engaging with them either, because technically we are on the same side. And see, it all worked out fine. There was no problem there whatsoever.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
When we were investigating the dead being before the Dimri guards found us, you mentioned that it might be a fiend.
Well, I said the only thing that big I've ever seen before was a fiend. I don't know if it was one. Could have been. But Ayus has all kinds of fiends working for him, or at least he did until somebody done rubbed up on that crook of row and sent them all a packing. There's still some around, but they ain't like they was before. Now he's, well, that's one of the reasons why he stopped his advances. You know, it just didn't have the demons to help him out.
Why do you think they? Do you think they got sick of him?
No, there was some wizard part of the Circle of Eight or something or other used a magical artifact or something to basically send them all back to the abyss. Well, a substantial amount of them anyway.
What do you think the abyss is like?
Bad. Really
Do
bad.
you think? Well, so, but what about the fiends? Do you think the fiends
good.
are always bad, or maybe they're regular, and then they go to the abyss and they become fiends? Maybe it's not their fault.
Jenna just sighs heavily now, seeing that the conversation, the serious part of it's probably over, and she goes and she rides up next to the scout.
Also, it's worth noting, Raleigh forgot to get her breakfast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
George's just listening, like absent-mindedly while he's speaking with the horse that he's riding on. He can't understand the horse, but the horse can understand him. So he's just like, it's nice to be around animals.
And actually, you know, that's one thing about it, though, Norjor, is that you have a bond with animals and stuff. So, yeah, the horse isn't using words, but the horse is talking to you. So, like you say in your Norjor speak, it says, "Yes, I know they're crazy humans, aren't they?" Yeah, and the horse would then go, it would say yes to you. It understands what you're saying.
Yep.
So that's all. That's good.
And then as he's talking to his horse, once Jenna rides off, I sort of slow my pace a little bit, so I'm riding, sort of side by side with Norjor, and I say in Elven because I think that he has an easier time communicating in that language than in Common. And also, I don't think it's anybody else's business, and even though Raleigh's a half-elf, I'm not entirely sure he can actually speak Elven or not.
He's a hack.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I just say, I look over to him, I just say, I didn't get a chance to thank you for what you did for my mother all those years ago. I won't forget about that.
Norjor will nod and say, it was my pleasure to be able to help. We watched her and you with interest. I was actually there when you were born, but I did not realize it was you. That was that little boy until you told me who your mother was. I hope that I understand that your life has been your relatively short life has been filled with quite some pain, but I hope that you will make the most of the life that you have still, and that we may hopefully drive values out together.
Again, thank you. And then I ride off a little bit.
Roger nods, just goes back to talking.
All right. Okay, so you guys keep on keeping on. You ride for the better part of a day, and nothing. Jenna's really starting to show her skill, but also the Dimri guy that's leading you. You can see where they the paths they take you in between lower lying areas, between the hills and stuff, and it's definitely keeping you out of eye shot of anybody who may be any kind of wandering eyes. He doesn't really seem very concerned at all either. You have a feeling that he, being in his own land, still feels very confident. And then it basically gets, late afternoon. You guys eat in the saddle, and that's when he draws it up to a stop. The topography has changed again. Like I say, thinning out considerably. There are tufts of high-standing weeds here and there, and small copses of trees. But for the most part, it is definitely turning into a very wide prairie with intermittent big swaths of it that has high grass growing out of it. It's not big enough to the point where the grass is, if you were walking in it, it would be mid-thigh. Okay. So, but he stops there, and the Dimri guy goes, "Well, fellas, I'm out here. If you don't mind handing me back the whatever the hell we call those poncho things, I'll be on my way."
Is it a tabard?
I think it is. I think he's right.
Make that
No,
up.
I think it is a
tabard.
tabard. I think it is a tabard.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So Jenna takes hers off and tosses it over to him. He grabs it, and he'll ride his horse around to each one of you and take the tabards from all of you as well. And then he will actually afterwards, and he goes, "Well, Brother Alistair says that he's gonna make a present of all these horses for y'all, so you don't have to walk the rest of the way. So, and give them hell, boys." And then he turns and he rides off.
I look at Jen and go, "What did you do to get the horses?"
Nice.
Nothing.
That is so nice of them. I kind of feel like I totally misjudged them. Like, I thought they were dickheads, but they gave us horses. Like,
Well, honey, sugar, I told you that Dimri don't like Ayus. Just because they question us because we're carrying weapons and roaming around and next to the smoking crater in the land doesn't mean that they're, bad folk. Well, they're kind of strict. But besides that, they want Ayus out too. Don't do them no good. They ain't no fools. They know that, eventually he's going to be coming after them too. I was still talking like the guy a little bit there for Jenna, but so, they, not too bad.
I
All
like
right,
them a lot
gentlemen.
better than I like your boss.
Tobo Gurner's not my boss. I just work for him from time to time. To be a boss would mean that I was an underling, which I am no one's underling.
Nojor laughs at that. He starts chuffing a little bit. He's like, "Oh, funny, funny."
Jenna, if you had underlings, would you take their soul?
Are we talking if you were my underling, Ronnie?
Well, yeah.
Of course not, Sugar. I would never take your soul. You're entirely too sweet and delicious just the way you are. But you're all bandits, so I might run you through.
That's it, guys. I like her.
I'm just playing. All right, come on, gentlemen. Let's go. We got a couple more hours to ride before we're going to have to try and find some place to bed down for the night. We're not going to make it all the way to Kinemeet today, that's for sure. Another hard day of riding and we should be fine. So,
Great.
All right.
okay. Again, the weather today has been, like I said, it's late summer. It's starting to go towards fall. Okay. It's warm. It's nice. It's it's been actually, if you guys weren't in the situations you are, it would have been a nice day, nice ride. So, then as it gets closer towards evening, there are more clouds in the sky, but it doesn't look menacing at all. So, Jenna does find a copse of trees along a dry riverbed where. She go ahead, you guys go ahead and begin to dismount, make camp for the evening. So
I'm just gonna take a look around, see if I can see any orc or hobgoblin tracks in the immediate area.
all right, go ahead and give me a survival roll, because that's what you do for trekking.
Yep.
Because that's essentially what you're doing.
Yep, and I get to do it with advantage because they're my favorite enemy.
There you go.
Which I'm glad I got that advantage. So 18.
No, you're not seeing anything that seems to be. Oops, I didn't want to do that. No, you're not seeing anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nordor is going to use his wanderer ability to gather some food. He can find food and fresh water for myself
Right.
and up to 5 other people.
Okay. You're actually able to find quite a bit of different types of stored up roots and stuff, and especially right in this copse of trees, because there is a fair number of animals that have lived in here. Squirrels. There's also, if you wanted to hunt, there are essentially what is the same thing as a groundhog.
Nice. Yeah, totally
So-
would.
Yeah.
Maybe get 1 or 2 of those.
Now, here's the thing: you could get water if you dig. You can, and it won't be a simple amount of digging, but you could find because of the dry riverbed. You'd be able to, if you dig down low enough, you can get into a water table. It would take
we're-
essentially
we're-
quite a while, though.
We're making
Wait.
camp. What
Mhm.
time of day is this exactly?
It's early evening. I mean, she's gonna go ahead. You guys are gonna, you're gonna get up at before dawn and start traveling again. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind looking for some water. I mean, people are carrying like a water skin or 2 each. Technically, like, we
Yes.
need to drink a lot of more water than that. So, I'll go ahead and start digging. I'm a big dude.
Okay.
And
and
if
just
anyone else wants to help, I'm obviously
Sure.
going to tell them about what I'm doing.
whatever you guys had as far as supplies on you, there is an extra water skin on the horse that was provided for you. So, but still, you're right. I mean, yeah. All right. So Nordor just starts digging away. Jenna, makes her little nook, gets a blanket out, sets it down. We're not gonna make any fires out here due to. As you might imagine, there's not an awful lot of breakage to light out here, so it travels pretty far.
Also, there's a lot of dry grass everywhere.
Amen to that, sugar. So what we're going to do is we don't have cold camp. It's still warm enough out. It's not really that big of a deal, I would think, for y'all. I will go ahead and take the first official watch. Who else would like to join in on that so we don't get set upon by spots or whatever? Maybe even
I have
And
long
that-
since have disappeared. Not be involved in this watch business. Not found until I want to be found in the morning.
she's used to that, and you always come back around, so she's not overly concerned with that at all. So you do what's necessary when it's right. So
I'll take second watch, I suppose.
okay.
I'm
Nordor
helping
will take a
Nordor
watch
with
as
the
well.
hole.
Yeah, I'll take a watch later after I've finished my hole and ready to go to sleep.
I can take last
Oh.
watch.
Okay. All right. I need you guys to all go ahead and roll me
Initiative.
no a perception. Let's do it. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and get this order again. Who was Jenna was first.
Yep.
Who was second?
I'll be
Wyndon,
second.
I think, was second.
Okay, Wyndon. Okay.
Nordor was third.
Okay. And then who is pulling up the fourth and last? You only need 4. Was it Silverwolf? You can do the last one.
Yeah, I'll take the last one.
All right. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'm going to roll for Jenna. Let's see what Jenna gets off of this here. Nimble, but she doesn't really have much in the way of that. Okay. Let's see what she gets. Okay. All right. right, Wyndon, go ahead and give it to me.
Okay. Perception.
You got a 16.
Oh, I saw it. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, Norjor and Silverwolf, go ahead and give them to me if you haven't already.
I rolled.
Doja rolled a natural 20.
Oh, nice. Okay.
14.
Okay, so I need to make a roll of my own just for the giggles of it all. Okay. All right, so that night passes with no problems. You guys are all good. Okay, so next day, Jenna's actually kicking Raleigh in the feet to get him up. Because I'm assuming of everybody, Raleigh's probably the one that would sleep in the most.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You guys, again, get back in the horses, head on out. Start going.
Norjor's gonna fill up his water skins with underground spring.
Okay. It's not so much a spring as just like a pool of water that after you let it set long enough, the silt settles down into it and you can get water out of it drinkable.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not imagining it being fresh and clean or anything.
Yeah. And not bubbling up at any source.
Right.
Okay, so next day you guys get up, same thing, head out. You're back riding along, doing your due. I need to make one more roll. Okay, that's good. Okay, so you guys ride for a better part of the day. It's late afternoon when Jenna stops you guys, dismounts, and starts going through her packs. Says, "Well, I'm actually quite surprised we haven't run into anything else already up to this point. At least I haven't seen anything." But and she starts pulling out these cloaks, and she goes and she's handing these cloaks to each one of you guys. They're black cloaks. Now, I'm gonna need y'all to wear these and make sure you keep the hood up. And I know this one's a little bit small for you, Nordjor, but I also got some other some makeup here in my bag. If you don't mind, I'd like to just apply a little to your face, just to get a little of that blue tinge away from you, just a tad, if you don't mind.
Nordjor will look at her, and then finally he'll acquiesce and be like, "Okay."
Now, Sugar, I just need to make sure that these guards and these orcs don't see, full blue. There's plenty. You could go for a rather big bugbear, but if we just keep you darkened up a little bit and under that cloak as much as possible, I think we'll be all right. So she goes ahead. She's got it's some kind of cream, or I shouldn't say it's more like a grease paint. That's what I'm thinking of. For applying to one's face. Three Toes knows exactly what it is. It's the type of stuff for you darken yourself up from when you're doing night work. Is what she's got essentially. So she takes some of it, rubs it on, just lightly over your face, in your hands, Nordjor, and maybe parts of your arms, just to darken it up so it's not so bluish, and it turns into more of a gray dark color. So, okay.
So Raleigh is right over her shoulder the whole time, and totally backseat driving, and he's like, "What are you? No, that's the wrong. Don't you have any? Do you have any mungberry? You got to add some mung. That's too dark. That's not the right color. Oh, you're good. Okay. Yeah, no, it looks fine.
And you know what the juxtapose of all this is yesterday you were so eloquent and poignant in what you were saying.
Well, at least I know how to giant.
Anyway. Okay, so you guys go ahead and put your cloaks on.
I love how everyone wants to dress us up. It's I'm just a little costume house for everybody. Great.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take my green cloak off and roll it up, put it in my pack, and more tight to my pack and put this other thing on.
Okay, as you get it ready to put on, you definitely notice that it has the sigil, the emblem of Ayus, right emboldened, big as day on the back.
Oh.
Yeah, and she's watching you as you do this because she's expecting this. It's like, yeah, Sugar, these are cloaks of disciples of Ayus.
Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
are we the bad guys? Are we being bad guys?
Well, pretending, yeah.
Raleigh
Just
gets
put
all
it on
excited.
and be happy.
So Raleigh, gets all excited. He takes his coat off. He flips it inside out, puts it on, buttons it up. The inseam, it's a reversible jacket. It's this dark gray. He slicks his hair back, puts on a very serious visage, and you would swear it was an entirely different person. Come, let us greet these orcs.
Yes, good time. Good
See,
time.
he's learning. He's learning.
Nordjor will pat Silverwolf on the back and say, "I use people die, so we have these cloaks."
Yeah.
Well, I wish that was the truth, Sugar. We just kind of had these made.
Be that as it may, I kind of scowl at the Nordjor statement.
All right.
Nordjor just grins at him.
Let's
Wyndon
go.
puts it on without any comment.
Let's go ahead and get it going. All right. So now she takes you and she heads off in a different direction. You can tell that she is no longer seems to be concerned with keeping you guys from being seen by prying eyes or what have you. Not long, maybe about half hour after she's changed direction, you guys come across, it is a road. And you guys get on the road, and it's not, as you guys are getting onto the road, as you are closing into the road, you actually started to see a dust cloud, okay, in the distance. And as it is actually ahead of you. It's a little bit too far away to make any kind of detail out, but is definitely there's something ahead of you on the road, and substantial enough that it's kicking up dust to the point where it's visible. So it's obviously more than just a couple of people. So she gets you guys onto the road, and as you travel, you guys are making time up on this whatever's ahead of you. And then as you start making times for this, you start seeing in the distance, there is a group of people that either marching or whatever going down the road. But as you start to make them out, you also start to see a small city, very large town in the distance. As you make your time, you're getting closer to this group of people that is going towards, because it's obvious they're going towards the town. And as the town comes into more view, you get to see a little more detail of which both of them are. The group ahead of you obviously are guards marching prisoners. And there is about 10 of them as far as guards go. There's probably twice as many prisoners. From this distance, you see varying. You can definitely tell that pretty much all these people are humanoids, but you can tell that there's differing sizes. And for one, it's either some kids up there, or maybe a gnome or a halfling, something along those lines.
I actually want to slip up there and see if I could hear any conversation or get a better look.
Okay, are you going to do that via your horse, or are you going to dismount and...
They're walking, right?
They are walking. That's why you guys...
Oh yeah, I would just step right off the horse and maybe toss the reins over to one of my companions and just kind of stealth my way over there.
I'll take the reins.
There is actually, and here's the thing, there's enough of that tall grass has a lot of the area around as you're coming into. This is Kinemeet, if you haven't guessed. on the side of the road, as you guys have been coming in, it's definitely visible that there is old farms, a lot of outbuildings. There's old houses, but everything is just gone. These houses and whatnot that are out here are not standing houses. They're the skeletons. They're the bare bones of it. All these once used to be. You can tell that there were fields. You can see that where there was fences, either wooden or more likely stone fences that were separating the lands. But all of them are overgrown, so it's not going to be a problem for you to ditch over. And this is that taller grass that is out on the plains is basically encroached into this area, because where Kinemeet is, while it's on a it's not on a river or anything along these lines. It's basically where there's some natural wells. So it's kind of like out in the middle of nowhere, really. So go ahead and give me a stealth roll. Who are you throwing your reins to?
I'll take him.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. You zip up that way. Jenna actually, I'm going to check. Because she would say something if she noticed you, but I doubt if she's going to notice you. Yeah, that's not good enough. She doesn't, as always, nobody can pay attention to where the hell Three Toes is at. So she's oblivious to what happens. She doesn't even see you hand off your reins to Silver Wolf and duck into the weeds. The horses, and Jenna's not going at a brisk pace. They're just, it's like a canter, I guess would be. Not even really a canter. It's just slightly a speedy walk for the horses. So you make it over into the tall grass and start snaking your way up towards where the prisoners are. As you start to get closer, you can definitely hear their. It's orc. Do you speak orc?
No, I do not speak such a vulgar tongue.
Okay.
I do, but I'm probably too far away to hear it, right?
You can hear the noise of what's going on.
I wouldn't be able to tell what they were saying.
Because these guys have been watching you close in on them. Because it's been at such a pace, they haven't been like overly worried. Not to mention, they run this area. I mean, these orcs here, pretty much, they run what used to be Jarhas. This whole area, what used to be this kingdom, is these orcs. They go patrol around, they go raiding and all this different stuff. So that's what that is. So basically, what you can see though, because I'm assuming that you're going to take a look and try and see what the people are that are the prisoners and whatnot as well. Three Toes.
How many there are, and how many orcs there are, and
okay.
Yeah.
There's roughly there's 20 people, prisoners. There are 12 orcs, and the prisoners vary quite a bit. The bulk of them, we'll say 15, look like bandits. These are the type of guys, be they half elven, half orc, humans. The bulk of them are all humans. But you can just tell. These are the type of guys that you see in Rookroost. You see them in all different types of places. They're the tougher men, they're guys that have worked for a living, plying the sword trade, whatnot. The other 5, though, are basically just, as you would say, like civilians. Now, the majority of the people that lived in the as they call it, the Bandit Kingdoms or the Free Lords are not bandits. The bulk of the people that lived here, they're just regular folk that would work the lands. The Bandit Kingdoms had just bandit lords, okay, and they ran their kingdoms like kingdoms, okay. Some were more kingdom-like Jarhas it was modeled after Erdi, the Great Kingdom, okay. So these guys here, they had royalty, they had the king, they had fiefs, they had peasants, they had the whole 9 yards. And these people were the guys who worked the land and stuff. Dimri is a theocracy. But then you go to like the West, and man, that was like the real Wild West over there. Those 5 people are, it looks like a family. a mom, a dad. It's either a brother or the oldest brother, or the oldest son. So, and then 2 are kids. One's like 10 years old. The other one's like 9. They're very similar. One's a boy and a girl. And they're all chained up.
How far off are the rest of us? He went down on foot, so I'd imagine we're pretty much the same range at this point.
You're getting close. You guys are making. Let's put it this way. By this time, this is all within visual of you guys. Okay. And
I am going to fire an arrow at the closest orc from my hidden position.
Okay, now before we get into all that, let me tell you that Kinemeet is right in front of you.
Yeah, well, if there's a plan, I'll forget it, and if I don't forget it, I'll ignore it. That's my flaw.
Okay, there are. Before we get to that part, not that I'm trying to.
He's
slay
like,
anybody.
before you kill yourself.
Kinemeet is a walled town. Like I said, it's a small city, large town, walled. The walls are disrepaired, and there are parts of the walls that are breached and have not been repaired. Okay, there are orcs that man these walls. Okay, there are the main gate, where this road is leading up to, is open, but there's probably about a good 12 orcs just hanging out around the gate. They're not like, they're dicing, they're drinking, they're eating. They're not really doing much of anything besides hanging out around there. And you are these slaves are within visual of the wall. You're not talking like it's still pretty far away. This all kind of like came together as everybody started getting closer towards each other. Everything just kind of came together. So you're definitely like 50 yards away from the gate. So if you shoot from your hidden position, there's going to be a lot of eyes that get rolls to see if they see where it came from. That's all I'm saying.
No, they won't. I'm a skulker.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll to shoot this. Now, which guy are you shooting?
The one closest to me.
Okay.
And actually, if I miss, they won't be able to tell where it's coming from. If I hit, I'll be revealed, but then I'll just rehide. So.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. If you hit, then I'm going to get a map. If you miss, then we'll see what happens next. All right, go ahead and give it to me.
Yeah, it's probably a miss.
I'll
actually...
Hold on, let me check. Let me go over to my monsters.
And assuming he's going to be surprised, that'd be a 15.
Yep.
Let me see. And you got an 11?
You got a 15.
15.
You got a 15. Okay, you hit him.
Oh,
that
good
is
Lord.
a crit, so it's an auto crit. So it's an extra D8.
Okay, give me the
Extra D6 for your sneak too, or 2D6.
Yeah.
Good Lord, you're just gonna kill him.
So I've only got 1D6 showing there on so it should be it's not right for my sneak attack.
No, you need to double.
Yeah.
And your assassin gets to go too. That goes off. This guy is
that's what he did. That's why.
That's my crit.
Okay, so your grand total is 17.
No, it's 27.
27
3.
plus 6.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you basically this arrow just goes in this. Now, this orc is just like walking along on the side of where these other slaves are. The arrow goes in his ear and it goes out the other ear and it streaks past and it actually just barely nicks another orc on the other side. It goes in between the slaves, nicks him, doesn't really do any damage, just draw the little blood, and then goes off into and that orc just falls down dead. Boom.
The minute that happens, and
I rehide.
Nordor sees that, he's gonna say to the others loud enough that it's not they can't hear up in front because we're not right upwind them yet. But it's like
Mhm.
we fight.
Okay, well, here's the
let
thing.
him hide.
This is what you guys saw. You're riding behind. All you see is an orc fall. The arrow's moving.
Should I roll to see if
This
I
is the
saw
thing.
when he?
I'm
This is
going to
what-
assume that it was
So-
Three Toes since I'm holding on to the reins of his horse.
Right. I want all of you guys to roll a perception for me to see if you notice what it was that actually just happened to that guy. It's not like an arrow came sticking out of his head. It went through him.
Damn it.
I don't even need to roll. Raleigh would just assume that he got tired, or I don't know. People lay down sometimes. It's really none of his concern.
Right. Okay. And then let's see here. Okay, so Silverwolf knows what just happened, and Nordra. Both of you guys knows what happened. Okay, with that's enough. It's just enough that you hear it, more so than you see it. It's like such a flash, but like you said too, Silverwolf, you've been paying attention because as soon as Three Toes gave you the reins and went off, you're like, all right, well something's gonna go on. So he drops down dead. All right, so. That being said, this will give me a perfect... We're going to take a break right here. Cliffhanger. This way, for one, I can prepare a little bit of something. I did not anticipate this, and so I want to just... I just want to get a little
How could you
something
not have
ready.
anticipated this?
I don't know. It just happened.
Whole city
but-
full of orcs. Yeah, let's get them.
Yeah.
Wait, no, but before you set it all up though, Will, maybe we should
Go ahead.
just make sure that the party is like.
Go ahead. Yeah. What was Nordor
Yeah,
going
because
to
if
say?
everyone else decides that we're just going to ignore it and keep going, like they don't have no indication it came from us, right? Like,
That's
Correct.
definitely Wyndon. Wyndon doesn't really know what happened, but if it gets pointed out to him, his plan is, no, we're not. Nope, we're not
I think-
engaging in that.
I think we need to be
Take-
careful.
Okay, well, talk as your
Yeah.
characters. Go ahead and talk it out.
Yeah.
okay, so it's like Nordra will be like, sneaky man, kill orc. Do we fight the orcs?
No, that's
Or-
suicide. We don't
No.
fight the orcs.
Yeah,
But we
no.
ignore and go into city.
Well, we
Oh, yeah.
try to, hopefully.
Jenna goes. Hold on. Let me just. Oh no, I just rolled for that. Let me see. Let me roll.
I mean, I just told them that's like what happened. So even if
Jenna seems like she's a little bit. What the hell just happened? And then first thing she does, she turns around and looks at you guys, and she noticed that Three Toes isn't there now.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Oh.
God damn it!
So here's the thing.
I forgot Raleigh isn't Raleigh. Right?
I'm okay.
That's
Just sort of continuing on.
Damn right. we can
Unless-
continue on.
Unless
All right.
unless
Son
those
of a
two
bitch.
little ones are children. Then I'm gonna have
You
a
know what?
problem.
She turns around, she bares her teeth at you guys. I don't fucking think I need to point out all the fucking orcs that are right there. If you honestly think for 1 second you're gonna be able to do any of this shit and not get killed, you're nuts. Your friend Three Toes probably just killed all of us because they're gonna find him, and when they find him with one of these, and she pulls on the cloak that she gave you guys, what the fuck do you think they're gonna do? All right, we need to hurry our asses and get in there, and we need to hold on. I need to find out what the guy's name is.
I like how Michael's gone too.
Oh,
Whole darkness again.
Drop the bomb and walk away.
Yeah, he's-
It is. Oh, you know what? I got it right here.
Wyndon will say, Silverwolf, I understand. And
Hardchuck.
we
Hardchuck.
can't rescue kids if we're dead.
She's like,
Like me?
we need to get the Hardchucks, and we need to get there now so we can get the fuck out of Dodge before everything goes to fucking hell in a handbasket.
Nordor's gonna say, I want Ayus.
Ah,
We
yeah.
can't fight. We can't. This Ayus is not here.
no.
We
He
kill
ain't here.
Ayus, not these random.
Yeah, see, that's the thing y'all tend to keep forgetting, but Nordor seems to have figured it out. So long as Ayus is around, he's going to just send more. It don't matter how many orcs you kill or how many of those other fools you kill. He's just going to send more. You got to figure out something bigger and better to get him out of here. That's why he's going around and making you guys come in here and stir up the hornet's nest while they do the heavy lifting. Now, come on, let's go and hopefully to God that this doesn't turn into the shit show I think it's about to. Okay. All right. Now we'll take.
All right, yeah, break. I got.
We're gonna take the break.
Okay,
because
break.
There's
We'll-
gonna be a couple
We'll
of things.
see if some people go with the plan, but yeah, break.
Well, you know what? Part was a TPK. That's all right. The beauty about it is there's tons of bandits.
All right, folks. We'll be back in a few.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few, guys. Hold on a second. All right, D, got it up.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Sorry for the delay.
Welcome. Yes, I apologize. I had to get just a couple of different things ready for the murdering. I mean, next. Okay, so as you guys can see here, we've got here's the group coming on. The road isn't really here. This is I do apologize for the quickness of this, but this is probably going to be important. You got here's our guy right there. There's Three Toes. Now the guy that he killed is this dude right here, and I just put a red X to him. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to make some rolls for the guys that are the guys hanging out around the entrance there. That's all I'm going to do. So
the entrance is like 50 yards off, right? This is just for the sake of expediency or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the exactly for just putting stuff together.
So you don't, because you don't want to have to like put a bigger map and fill it.
No, that's not happening. So here we go. Okay, let's take a look here and see what we got. There's a couple of fumbles. That's for damn sure.
18, 19, and 17.
Let me take a look here. This is going to be outrageous. Watch. That is correct. Okay.
I think he also Three-Toe needs to roll a new self roll.
He did. He got a 21.
I did just before we did. I got a 21.
Got a 21. Yeah.
You don't have to tell Three Toes to roll stealth.
And I'm only going to give a roll for 6 of the.
Makes sense. They're 50 yards away, so.
Did Will get
We actually lost Will. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, it's not just me. All right, good. I was like,
Go on without any of the rest of you. We need him.
So
okay, guys, let's
here's
kill
my
the orcs.
Yeah, they can't
Out
fight
there.
back, so here's our opportunity. So here's my thought.
He says he lost sound.
Yeah,
Or
we
just-
lost him altogether. So
Okay, what's your thought?
so
Adam?
yeah, so
Oh, sorry.
so we're dressed like these priests, right?
right.
Oh, I've got you. Don't worry. I've got
beauty
this
of
all under
Skype.
control.
The beauty of Skype. I have to love that. I apologize, everyone. Sorry. I probably
Not
shouldn't
good
be saying any names of companies.
Yeah.
The beauty of the technology I'm
Unless-
currently using.
Unless the good people of Skype are listening and would like to be a sponsor.
And clean up the reason I have a drop call. I don't think.
Okay, so
that
again,
is-
that's not the way to entice sponsors. By
Right? So true. Okay. All right. So basically, what was the last? Where did I drop out?
You were
We
gonna
win.
roll for
You were
6.
saying
rolling
something
all
about
those.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, nobody saw your Three Toes. They're all just. You can tell because you're used to this. People are just. They're all like crazy looking around. Rah, rah, rah. All the guys that were kind of up here playing. Dicing and eating and drinking and stuff like that. They're all on their feet, shouting. There's orders being shouted. Now, Silverwolf, you speak Orc, right?
I do.
Okay.
Or speaks Orcish as well.
Okay. So you guys totally understand that basically what's being happening is that the orcs that are obviously in charge. I'm going to put a guy here amongst these orcs too. The guys with the red dots, these guys appear to be the biggest, baddest, meanest orcs, so they're the guys in charge. Are barking orders, and they're freaking out. Initial response is they're looking all over to see what's happening. Okay, now keep in mind, This is happening right when the bow shot went off. So when Jenna and you guys were talking about what the heck was going on, that's happening right now. So this is all happening simultaneously.
So as Jenna's freaking out right now, Raleigh puts his hand up in a more authoritative way than you would expect from him. He says, "I've got this." And he rides up.
She grabs you and goes, "You ain't going fucking nowhere. You're gonna come with us, and we're gonna drive. We're gonna go inside. You're gonna cast shield on her."
Yep. Well, I don't know. Let's see if she can grab me without it first.
No, you said you're grabbing shield. No.
Well, it's procs when I'm hit.
It's reactionary. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't worry. Okay. All right. Hold on one second.
I'm so scared right now. You're killing me.
Jenna's just grabbing. She's not punching you or anything, dude.
No, I'm not scared of her. I'm scared of what's coming next.
14. I don't think she grabbed you.
She does not.
No. Okay.
So
she reaches out. She reaches out to grab you, and just like her hand just kind of like grabs some cloth, but then you just slide right out of it. Okay.
And I ride out the other direction after him.
So as he's riding up, I'm assuming he knows
Raleigh,
a couple phrases in Orc. So he shouts, "Hey you," to the leader. And
he's all the way at the other end, so you're going to ride all the way down towards him?
No, I'm stopping right where the dead guy is. So I'm stopping right here, and I'm yelling down to him like, "You, come!" And then I subtly cast Prestidigitation on the dead guy and make it look like his throat's been slit.
Okay, I want you to roll a sleight of hand for me.
So subtle spell is there's no trace. No somatic, no verbal component. It's a thing.
This is something that is more. This would be something that you would definitely. This is more of the realm of a minor illusion.
Okay.
But what I will do is with the Prestidigitation, I will allow you to make his neck look bloody. There'll be no wound though.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's okay.
Keep in mind. And this is from earlier, from my description of what happened. The arrow goes in one ear and out the other. So technically, he's just got two bloody ears.
Actually, you know what? That works. You know, I don't have to do the Prestidigitation at all. Sorry, in the break, I kind of lost my. But
That's right.
So he doesn't have to do anything.
Okay, so you're yelling at those guys. These orcs are looking confused. Okay, and this guy actually looks like, like he wants to be pissed. And then he starts marching down. Yes. And then he looks back over his shoulder and he yells at Orc to these other guys, "Get the slaves in, quick!"
What?
And they start whipping them.
Where are the ones with the kids? Where are they? In the back?
Front. Okay, you see this one right here.
Yeah, I see it.
That one right there. Those two kids in the middle, or those two right there are kids, we're going to say.
And the parents are...
Just say the...
here?
The in front, yeah. Granted, those look like... Now, you can tell, too. See how those guys right there? The guys that are all supposed to be, like, they look orcish, kind of, to you. Those are actually... All those guys are the bandits.
Okay. All right, I hop off my horse, walk pointedly toward the whoever the father of this family is, the ones that are clearly civilians. I'm going to ignore this guy. I might shoot him a dirty look. Grab the father by the back of his clothing, whatever he has, jerk him toward me, sort of hold him out toward Raleigh, and say, "This is him, isn't it?" And hope Raleigh catches on.
Okay, the orc.
DM, just so you know, Nordor, the minute all this shit went down and some of the party said that they were just going to avoid conflict here, Nordor stealth. He went into the bushes because he's too big and conspicuous, and if anyone looks at him closely, they'll realize he's not fucking human, and I don't think there are any furbolgs in the employ of Ayus. So he went into the bushes. I rolled stealth for it.
Okay, now here's the thing. 3 toes is not going to be a problem. For you to stealth out here, you're going to do it at disadvantage. And the reason for that is because it's just tall grass. 3 toes has got this because he's smaller in stature. You're freaking huge. So I will allow you to do that, but go ahead and roll. Now here's the thing. Keep in mind, you guys got to get in the city.
Yeah, no, that
I mean,
aware
3
of that,
toes
but I
are-
don't want to be. So,
Okay.
like, Nordor is not going to be like under scrutiny with like 10 fucking orcs. It's gonna end up in a fight. Like,
Not, well, not, but okay. Go
Am
ahead.
I wrong? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like.
Let's put it this way: there was a reason that Jenna gave you cloaks, and there's a reason that Jenna that darkened your skin.
Right.
The thing
I have like black.
I'm going to point out the one person that everybody doesn't like around here. If they'd just been listening to her, you probably would have been in the city already.
Well,
but you can do it,
like,
dude.
Anyone not shooting the orc would have changed that too. But so let me understand this, because what I'm envisioning is that Jenna just put some blackface on Nordor, so he looks like a dark.
He looks like a
dark furry.
Here's the thing, Phil. Orcs don't know what the fuck a furbolg is.
Sure, I know, but they know what an orc is, and they know what like
right.
You know, other species, the various other like species that might be employed by Ayus. I just thought it would be more conspicuous, and especially as they're kind of like looking around more, that would be more conspicuous. But like, I'm not living this, Nordor is, and if you tell me that it's pretty common sense in Nordor, that would be pretty obvious, and he's, you know, very wise or whatever. So if it would be very obvious that he can blend in, then he wouldn't go about trying to stealth.
You're not going to blend in. You're not going to blend in. But here's the thing: you have an Ayusian cloak thrown on you. Okay,
that's going to be fine.
Let's put it this way: as you start to watch,
cloaks get around everything. Okay.
No, but as you start to watch this. Basically, a guy got shot, and then you see your other friends are starting to peel apart and to do different things. Now, granted, all this stuff is starting to happen at the same time, but Jenna was going to sneak you in with this cloak. You follow? Obviously, it was enough to get you guys entry into the city. You're
going to be fine. You're with Raleigh. You're going to be fine. Let's do this.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
that's fine.
I understand.
That's fine then. Nordor's not going to hide if it doesn't make any sense to. Let's
put it this way: if you want him to feel uncomfortable at the situation and hide, totally do it, dude. I mean,
but it's not because he's uncomfortable with the situation. It's only because what would make common sense to him, in the sense of that. Like, the idea was, I thought Nordor's got like his features a little ruddied up, and then he has a cloak on, and he keeps the cloak over. That's like not going to draw a lot of attention to him. But someone just fucking died, and like our party is drawing a lot of attention to ourselves. Like if it was just us like walking in and no one's talking to anyone, then I can totally buy the cloaks are just going to work. But like that's why I thought it's not going to work anymore. Like Jenna's plan doesn't work because one of our guys just assassinated one of the orcs, and now we've got Raleigh and doing God knows what with the commander.
That's true. And here's the thing: is you could totally think that. That totally makes sense because you don't know these guys from, pardon the pun, Adam. So, and so I have no problem with doing that. I'm just letting you know because it's your character, man. You play them how you feel, and that's totally within character.
That's fine. I'll stay with the group.
Okay. I mean, okay. That's
no. I'm going to pull. Nordor will pull the cloak up around him a little bit more so that it obscures his features even more, and try to make himself as noticeable as possible without actually hiding in the brush.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Wyndon is just a bit wide-eyed and staring at Jenna
and
shrugging like.
And Jenna's sitting there going, "Y'all gonna fucking die whether I should just leave right now." You can hear her mumbling to herself.
Can we do this? I'm scared.
Okay, all right. So
I pulled the guy toward.
You pulled him,
and I'm pointing him at Raleigh, saying, "This is him, isn't it? It's him."
Raleigh kind of gestures. He's like, "Yes, he's the guy. Yeah, hold on." And he addresses the head orc now, and he's like, "You speak the common tongue, orc? You speak the common tongue?"
Yes, I speak the common tongue. Hold on, I need
What
to,
kind
to
of
make
operation are you
one
running?
roll. There's just going to be one roll that needs to be made. That's it. Okay, that's all I need to see.
Okay.
I'm bringing slaves in. What do you mean? I don't understand.
You let one of your prisoners kill one of your men. What are you doing?
Which
What
one?
kind of operation? What do I need to tell IUs?
What? You're going to tell IUs about an orc dying?
You don't know. You have no idea who these prisoners are, do you?
If you're
Yeah. Well, of course we did. We rounded them
up.
up. I don't understand.
Ayuz has been looking for these 4, and pointing at the family.
This
How many
guy-
other 5? These 5.
The girl especially.
And I said,
They were farmers.
And shows what you know. You leave the thinking to the people who can think. All right.
So we need to. I speak to him in Orcish, and I say, "What's your name, so I can report this back to IUs, or you let us take this family where they were supposed to go."
I'll say something right now before you guys, because you guys, this would be common knowledge. Nobody fucking reports to IUs. He's a demigod.
Well, whoever the general, who's like the head priest? How about the head priest?
That works. Okay, that works. That works. How about this? You can throw around the name Krasner.
All right,
Krasner is essentially the head Iusian guy around here. He's a wizard. He lives in a castle down by the rift. That would be somewhat believable.
That's fair. So I say, in Orcish, what's your name, so I can report back to Krasner, or we can forget this whole thing. We take these prisoners to him ourselves. And
I gotta report to the commandant. I just can't just give stuff away.
These are not your typical prisoners. They're important.
Well, let's go and talk to the.
Get him some coin.
Actually,
Get him some coin.
Actually, that guy this guy right here, the slaver.
Yeah.
He's kind of dumbfounded. This guy coming up, he's talking to you though, and he comes up and he goes, "What the hell's going on?" This orc here.
Where is he?
Okay.
Well,
he's right next to him. He's right next to him. Now, this is what I need. I need either performance or deception rolls from you guys.
Can we do a deception with advantage since we're helping each other out?
One accumulative check. He can help me.
Okay, who's doing the roll?
Yeah, no, Raleigh's definitely doing the roll.
Okay.
I'm a liar.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're speaking. Whoever's going to be doing the help in here. You're spinning one tail. He's sort of spinning another. Okay, Raleigh, you go ahead and you make the roll, but then that means you do the talking from here.
All right, I got it.
Because you got to be basically his Flavor Flav now. You know what I'm saying?
Is that good? I'm scared. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's great. Okay, that gets in line with what I was
13
wanting.
though, it's advantage.
Yeah. So, all right. This guy comes marching over, this big orc, right? And he goes, "I don't think anybody's doing anything around here except taking these prisoners in and putting them in the stockade. If you guys got a problem with it, go talk to your priests inside and have them figure it out. Moving along.
Let's go. What's your? I want your name.
Durkin.
They're coming for you, Durkin.
Yeah. Come on, move it along. You
I'm
guys
just
aren't
very
so
happy to
tough
not be
without
dead right
all
now.
your fiends around to back you up, are you?
I've actually lost my fiends, and if you see them, I would appreciate it if you let me know.
That's more of a
Not
Raleigh
mean to
statement.
click that. Did not mean to click that.
Yes, you did. Come on, secretly down deep inside you, you really
Secretly.
He attacks again. No.
Playing that character sheet did not mean to click it.
So good, so good. Okay. So basically, at this time, the slave guard, the head guy of the slavers, starts arguing with the other orc, the guy who's obviously in charge of the guys at the gate. Okay. And the slave guy's going, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to get me in trouble. I'm going to get, these guys are priests, Ayus. And the other guys, you can tell the other guy's not really all that impressed with the Ayusian priests. He's not talking shit about, well, he is talking shit, but he's not talking shit to you guys. And he's telling the other guys like, yeah, well, they're not in charge here anymore. So it doesn't really matter. Now, does it? If they really are going to get this guy, they can go and talk to that punk-ass priest that's inside, and then he can figure it all out with the big man. And so that's basically they're going back and forth. They're not throwing any names out, though. You don't catch any names.
All right. While they're...
Jenna, at this point in time, looks over her shoulder at Wyndon and Nordro, and she goes, I think it's high time that we walk right in really quick. You gentlemen, follow me. And she starts trotting her horse around, and as she's trotting by, she whistles, says, I recommend you fellows get in line and follow us in.
Yeah, as all the commotion is happening, I'm going to try to... and I'm still manhandling the poor father who doesn't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to try to sleight of hand and take my dagger and sort of like stick it in his like clothing.
Okay.
If he gets a dagger, he'll just die from the orcs. He's a farmer. He's a farmer. You're gonna give a farmer a dagger in front of a bunch of orcs?
It'll make Silverwolf's conscience feel better.
All right.
I have to help those in need.
As Raleigh rides
and
if
they spot me, I've got a plan, and it's not going to be good for the poor guy. But
so basically, I'm going to say there's 1, 2, 3. Those guys are arguing. I'm going to only say that there's 3 guys that are going to notice this because the other orcs, while that one dude, okay. The commander of the gate doesn't seem all that impressed with you. The other orcs are still very leery. They're unsure of what to do. It's like, well, these are Ayusian priests. I don't know if we should be doing anything with these guys. Guess what, man? I'm going to let the tie go to the freedom fighter, and they don't see you. Got lucky.
And then I just sort of push him away, and I'm fuming here, but there's no way that I can get out of this without killing all of us, including those prisoners.
Yeah, that's.
As I walk past, I look up because I'm assuming he's taller than I am. the orc guy.
Yeah, these orcs. These guys are pretty big, burly. Yeah. Your standard traditional orcs. You know what I mean? They're definitely guys that you don't want to meet in a back alley for any sorts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as I walk by, I just stop. I look at them, and I say, in Orcish again, Kresner will hear about this, and then walk back to my horse, get on, and follow the others.
That starts another bout of arguing between the guard of the gate and the guy who was the head slaver dude.
While all of the knife arguing things going on up there, I actually slip back to the horses and kind of slip between my horse and Silverwolf's horse, grab both of their reins, and just start walking between them, like I've been there all the time.
All right, just give me a stealth. It should be relatively easy to do, I would think. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough to do it. These gentlemen are they're all still trying to figure out, and then they start arguing. You hear them starting to go in. They're arguing about what the hell just happened to this guy. How's he dead? Like I said, it just so happens in the description that I gave that his ears are bleeding. They don't really know that it was an arrow that went through the guy. So, okay.
As Raleigh rides by the family, he leans into the mother and he says, "Last name. What's your last name?"
Gray.
He nods. Okay. And that's it.
Okay. All right. So now we were going to switch a map here. Okay, so let me pull that down. All right, let's. Where's my Kinemeet map? There it is. Bloop. There you go, gentlemen. Welcome to Kinemeet. And this is basically what you're seeing when you're coming through the gate. This I was prepared for. Okay, so as you can see, they hurried up and they were rushing in the slaves. Okay, these guys are going to actually they're moving them over to the side so that you guys can go by. The inside of Kinemeet is very similar in disrepair to the outside of Kinemeet, and essentially it's in different degrees of misrepair, decay. About, I would say, 1 in 3 houses are burned, if not completely. Definitely show marks of burning. This city, after it was captured, has been misused tremendously. There's actually every a little bit here and there. There's piles of refuse. There's a dead body you see in an alleyway. So it's looking pretty bad. As you come through that main gate, you're going down the main boulevard. Jenna is leading you guys, and she turns around and goes, "All right, if everyone's done being fucking stupid, just follow me, and I'm going to get us to where we need to go."
I whisper back, "You're next."
Oh, God.
For the second time, those of you who are looking, you see Silverwolf Wolf smile.
God, at this point, Raleigh would probably choose Jenna over Three Toes because she seems less likely to get him killed.
Okay, so now she's leading you guys on horseback. You're going to go, as you see up here, this part of the town has actually been walled off. Do you see that over here?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so she's leading you guys that way. So you see where I put her token?
Yep.
Right there towards her. Okay, so just you guys, I actually have. Can you guys move those tokens?
We can't move them.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead and put your own tokens in there. And then, as you can see over here,
A follower, so.
yeah, she's beckoned you to follow. There's all kinds of orcs hanging around outside. They got tables with food. There's a detachment of orcs coming down the street this way, and this whole section right here, you see that going around? That's all a fence that's built up. It's essentially it's like a barbed wire fence, and there's slaves in there. Okay, there's a bunch of them, and as you're walking by, you see right there, Silverwolf.
Where, sir?
Right. I'm going to do the ping again right there. Okay. That's a group of kids.
Why the fuck would she bring me into this place?
He warned you ahead of time, man. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to take you in." And good times. Would you like to do anything? Okay. She keeps riding her horse along. There's a keep right over here. You guys see the keep? Mm-hmm. And that looks pretty much intact, but there's some guards chilling there. As you can see, there's around this makeshift prison camp. There's a couple orc archers they have on some of the roofs around, just kind of lounging around. And you also see that there are dead bodies that have been crucified up there. See them in the back there. And then there's a pile of bodies right in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And those are bodies that it looks like essentially the slaves, when somebody, if they've died in here, they drag them and they throw them over into that pile. So, okay.
I
So
lick
then-
my lips when I see that pile. Not in a creepy way.
Silver
Oh,
Wolf.
No.
okay.
In the usual way, in the way that you do when you see a pile of dead bodies.
Right? Okay, so as you guys
I
are
just
right.
smile because I know they've been released.
Mm-hmm.
Their bowels may have been released.
Okay. Jenna keeps looking over her shoulder back at you guys with a very concerned look as you guys ride past. In particular, she's looking at Silver Wolf now with a very concerned look on her face.
She can see the anger and the hatred just in my eyes and my face. My jaws are clenched.
Yeah. Okay. So she leads you and leads you actually to this house right here, which is extremely close. It's right in the shadow of the keep. It is a mansion. Matter of fact, pretty much this section of town that she led you guys into, this section is a well-to-do section of Kinemeet. And as you went through the city and you got closer towards this section of town, things were, for as much as it could be here, in better repair. You know, not as ill taken care of, you know, sort of thing. And she gets off, and there's not really, I guess, this isn't the Old West where she can tie her horse off. She just gets off and leaves her horse and then goes in the front door of this building. Looks at you guys. She's got the door open. She says, "Come on, get in here. Just leave the horses. We're not going to need them."
I'm with her.
I get off the horse. I take out my maul and just walk in with it on my shoulder.
Okay. Everybody else following in?
Yeah, I'll walk in behind.
Okay.
Keeping in the back.
I'll say goodbye to the horse and wish him well, and I'll head in.
It'll neigh at you and bob its head. Okay. Now we have a... I got to move this so I can click it. There we go. We have a new map. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, you gentlemen can go ahead and just drop your tokens in on that. You're right here in this front room area.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Everyone in here is so large compared to us.
Yes, and you didn't realize that these were giants.
Yeah.
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're giants.
It's on a large spell when you walk in, and it just takes a while for it to take effect.
Yeah, it's delayed. Okay. And I'm just going to have to put Jenna on the map again. She's about the right size. It's just you guys. Okay, so she comes in, and this orc who had been sitting down here, and then there's this guy. The orc gets up. "Hey, there she is," and he comes, around the desk to her and whatnot. And he comes over, and he gives her a big hug, and she it's not like she's put off by it, but she's in a really sour mood. So she's like, "Yeah," and pats him on the back real quick, and then just pushes her way out of it. "Archer, I'm sorry, but I don't have time for this right now. There's all kinds of commotion that we kind of stirred it up at the gate. You got everything ready?" And he's like, "Well, yeah. Well, hold on. Don't worry. There's not really that much that's going to happen now. You're in my place. You know how it is. And I take it these are your desperados. Come Come in, gentlemen. Come in. Could I interest you in some wine or something to eat?
Raleigh bows very low, and he says, Morgan Aryor, Eller dear, it's a pleasure to be welcomed into your home.
What did you call him?
Morgan Aryor, Eller dear. Don't try to pronounce it. Your orc tongue would butcher it. You may call me Morgan.
Morgan. Oh, okay. Oh, hi. Do you I don't know but I don't know what the... Yeah. You want some wine? What about the rest of y'all? Would you like some wine? And Jenna's like, I said, we ain't got time for all that. Can you hurry up? I mean, we need to kind of get this ball rolling, get out of here. I mean, there's anything could be happening. He goes, Jenna, there's been, well, some complications. She's like, her head like kind of bows defeatedly.
Of course there has.
Complications? What kind of complications, darling? Well, it seems you know the things I promised you that I would have for you when you got here. Yes, the guild insignias. Well, yeah, those. Well, I don't got them, but I've got something that's just as good. Trust me, it's just as good. And she's, and then she walks over. She sits down. I'll have some of that wine now, if you don't mind. Of course. He goes over and he gets from over there somewhere. He gets a thing of wine and brings it over. The rest of you, please sit down, and take a load off. I'm gonna get you some wine as well.
I don't move from where I am. I just stand by the door with my maul on my shoulder.
Okay.
I actually remove a dagger from my belt and begin playing with my fingernails again.
Raleigh's going to sit and enjoy some wine.
What about Norger?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he'll go. He's not going to partake in the wine, but he'll go sit down just to be polite.
Okay.
He doesn't have anything against this guy yet.
Right. Okay. So, Jenna takes one big gulp, just tilts her head back, finishes the cup, puts it down. All right, so you don't have the guild insignias. No, I don't. Sorry about that. Something happened, and well, they're gone. I'm not going to bore you with details, but I've got something that's just as good. And my man here, and he goes over and he puts his hand on this guy right here, this is actually, it's a gnome, and he's dressed rather dapper. Got his mustache is curled, and he's got a point, to his goatee. His hair is a bright emerald green, and he goes, well, seeing as how no one's going to introduce me, obviously, I'm Penholt. Hops down off of his chair and he comes. And I can assure you, madam, that I have the answer to your problems. He said, "Yep, that's him, Penholt. He's the guy. He's the guy who's got the answer to your problems." I said, "All right. And what is the answer to my problem?" He says, "Well, there's one surefire way to get into Recluse now, and I do believe that I have the answer to that. You see, no one questions the honey dippers."
That's true.
And Jenna looks at him, and she looks at him and goes, she turns around and looks at the rest of you guys and goes, "Well, this might be where I'm leaving y'all." So, and
Jenna draws the line at honey.
Hardchuck. Well, you guys know what honey dippers are, don't you?
No.
They're like latrine cleaners, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
That's what a honey dipper
It sounds
is.
so nice.
It does. He goes, no. Trust me on this. He's got a surefire way. Listen to him. Penho, go ahead and explain it to him. Well, of course. You see, the honey dippers, no one pays them mind because they go and they clean out, well, the outhouses and what have you, and, well, frankly, they're kobolds, so who would bother to pay them any mind? She looks over across the table at Wyndon and goes, you know, I didn't think it was going to be this hard. He did just say kobolds, didn't he? These ain't kobolds. These is, I mean, for crying out loud, that man there's a furball. He's about as far as you can get from being a kobold. He goes, wait. He's got that covered. Watch. Tell him, Pendle. Tell him. He goes, of course. So I have these, and he reaches into his pocket and he pulls it out. And he pulls out a scroll and he puts it on a table. And he reaches and gets another one and he puts them down. These scrolls are for spells which will transform you temporarily into kobolds. And then he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out these. They're like little bronze medallions on a leather thong. And he puts them on the table. And these are the official emblems for the honey dippers, which allows them to gain entry anywhere that they need to perform their duties. So, you can go through the sewers and go into the city quite easily and unmolested. And he looks all proud and he like grabs hold of his lapels and he's like,
Raleigh stands up and he's quite satisfied. He's like, well, thank you, gentlemen. I think we've got what we've come for, yes?
Wyndon looks at Jen and goes, you really got a crack team here. Good job.
Sugar, this isn't my team. These are Tobolds men in connections. I really have nothing to do with this sort of thing. I personally, I think this is ridiculous, asinine, and crazy. But that being said, I mean, if let's see, I'm changing my voice here. That being said, I guess we can do it. I guess we can take these and be on our way.
The maul quickly leaves my shoulder and smashes the table in front of me. Jesus. And I look at Jenna and say, explain to me one more time why you brought us into this hell of a city so we could sneak into the sewers. Explain to me one more time why you're trying to disrupt IUs by dealing with scum like them, and point at the...
hey, they're just trying to help.
The two hosts.
I'm sorry about him.
You point at Harchuck and then Penhold?
Yep.
Jenna looks at him and goes, Sugar, I already explained it to you. You ain't getting into Rook Roost anyway easy now. That thing's sewn up tight. They're fighting amongst themselves in a secret war for supremacy of the city. Nobody comes in and goes out unless you're aligned with somebody some kind of way. And what was supposed to happen was that y'all was going to be members of the guild. We had guild insignias, supposedly, that would help you to get in, no problems asked. But see, those things are really well protected, and generally you don't find those anywhere outside of Rook Roost because, well, they're so important to have. But Harchuck here was supposed to have some. Well, I did. I said, I'm not done yet. He was supposed to have these, and now he doesn't. You still have to get into Rook Roost. If you got a better idea, I'm more than willing to listen to it. Because, frankly, as soon as I drop your asses off at Rook Roost, my job is done.
So you align yourselves with fools and monsters. This is what you get. And I walk out the door.
Well, I guess there's that.
Do you have any more wine?
Well, yeah, I do. And he comes over and he picks up the pitcher off of the table and he fills your cup.
This is a wonderful vintage, by the way. And for the record, I appreciate that sometimes things don't go to plan, and I'm sure you're doing your best.
Well, yeah, and that's me, Penholt. Now we figured we got this. This is a foolproof plan right there. Of course it is foolproof. I tell you, no one would ever question a kobold, especially part of the Honey Dipper Guild.
Question: Are
Everybody
you
looks
responsible for the slaves outside?
You talking to Harchuck, the
Yes.
half-orc? Nope. I'm a merchant. I just give stuff and sell things. And
Do you trade in them?
nope, they're used strictly for labor.
What's the going rate for a slave these days?
Oh, not much. I think about a couple silver. Depends. If they're a strong, strapping kind of individual, then I, maybe get a couple gold out of them.
Thank you.
And who would we go to speak to about purchasing some labor?
Oh, you can't purchase any of those. Those are all the orcs. They use them so they don't have to do the menial labor themselves. As you can tell, they're not really taking care of the place.
How many orcs are there?
In the town? Oh, thousands. I don't know the exact number. I mean, hell, it's a whole tribe here.
Very good.
I don't know much about you filthy creatures. I mean, orcs. I'm sorry. What do you like? What do you do for fun? What do you value?
I'm a half orc. I ain't no bloody
I'm sorry.
orc.
What? Yeah, the other heathens.
What do you mean? What do they like? They like to eat. They like to, I don't know, fornicate, dance. They're orcs kill things. That's what they do. That's why they're part of the army.
Dance, really? I find that very interesting. Thank you.
Jenna starts scooping up the bronze medallions and the scrolls off the table, putting them into her satchel, and she comes up to Harchuck and goes, "I had high expectations. I really did. Now we're going to cut to outside." And Silverwolf. So you go outside. What are you doing as you go huffing outside there, Silverwolf?
I'm taking stock of the the guards that are around. I'm also taking a look to see if there's like any anything that looks particularly flammable. Just in case. But mostly I'm just sort of.
Well, there's lots of flammable stuff around. The buildings, for one. There's no hay bales or anything like that with that. Conveniently
like a
situated next to
cart full of hay.
A cart of hay
great.
right next to a barrel that says oil.
That would be awesome. Anyway, I'm mostly just taking stock of the surroundings and the number of people there.
There are lots of orcs, and they all seem very agitated. Not as in, well, just imagine an orc horde with nothing to do. So you see like some guys picking fights with each other, stuff along those lines. And as you're doing that, you hear a commotion coming from down the street. There's some yelling, and it's a general, like, not an uproar, but loud people marching. A drunken horde is what it sounds to most like to be.
Oh, good God.
I'm going to take a walk toward the sound. Get a better look.
So basically, all you really have to do is you go down to, say, like, I don't know if you remember, is essentially there was a long, like, boulevard, and then you took a turn off. So you go down and you go around the corner of the house, and you're looking down the way, and you see eventually, as it grows louder, there's a a bunch of orcs being led by guys in black and red robes, and on the chest of one of the guy's robes is an emblem that looks just like the one that's on the cloak that you're wearing. And as you look, give me a perception roll.
Okay. Let's see. 19.
Oh, yeah, you noticed that big son of a bitch that was at the gate.
Okay.
He's walking right next to him and yakking and yakking.
All right. Well, I'm gonna walk back toward the door that we came in from.
Okay. You get the general impression that that guy's talking to the priest about stuff he's seen.
Yep. Yeah, no, I assumed.
Okay. So you're at the door?
Yeah. And
All right.
I'll throw it open and say, we're going to go. Now's the time.
Okay, before that, was there anything else that you gentlemen inside were looking to do before?
Wyndon would ask how long those disguises are supposed to last for.
This particular spell is quite powerful, says the little gnome. It will definitely transform you for 24 hours. You will actually be a kobold. This is not an illusion. I don't know what accent I'm giving this time.
I like it.
So, as a kobold, would we have our same intelligence, or would we be stupider? Would we know what's going on?
All your mental faculties will be as they were before. Unfortunately, your physical faculties will be that of a kobold.
Sure. And is the idea, and this is more addressed to Jenna, once we're in the city, we're safe because we've somehow gotten in, so once we're in, we don't need to worry about identity anymore?
She doesn't say anything for a couple of heartbeats, and then she looks at it and he goes, Sugar, I'm not really sure. I know one thing, and one thing only. I know your handler. I get you to your handler, and that's it. I'm assuming that it would be that way, because why else would they take you there if you couldn't do anything? Getting into Rook Roost, to my understanding, is just the hard part. It's sewed up tight.
Getting out ain't easy either.
Probably not. I'm not sure. I'm assuming they might just assume that if you're in there, you're supposed to be, and then let you go. But I could be wrong.
Very well. That's all I have.
Is there a way to dismiss the spell early?
And the gnome again puts his hands on his lapel. Of course there is. You must just disbelieve that you're a kobold with enough force and perseverance that the spell will evaporate. AKA, you must make a wisdom saving throw.
So Raleigh takes one of the scrolls and he kind of leans into the gnome.
Nope, Jen already took them all. She put them in the bag.
Okay. All right. Well, then he just kind of leans into the gnome and he's like, "So is this magic?"
Well, of course it is.
Oh, great. All right.
I'm a magician.
Okay. So how do you do magic? It's something with the elbow, right?
He looks over at Jenna. Yes, I see. Both elbows, son. Both.
Wait, both? Like one after the other?
Yes. You got okay. So at this time, after you say that, then now the door comes flinging open, and Silverwolf was there.
So if we're gonna leave, now's the time. I think that.
You guys start to hear a commotion too.
And I just walk up to Jenna though, and I look at her with the same disdain that she's looked at us since the moment she saw us, and I say, "You've spent a lot of time talking about the worthlessness of those from the Bandit Kingdoms. So let me tell you that I have met more people of worth in the Free Lords than trash like you will ever be."
Oh, And if I hadn't known that you were Tomar's son, I might be offended by that. But anyway, what's that noise?
I say the orcs are coming. They're coming for us, and I'm more than willing just to let them find us at this point.
You have got to be kidding me. She goes running outside for a second, and as she gets outside and she stops, like you see her, like she goes down a couple of steps, stops because it's starting to get louder and whatnot, turns around and comes running up in here, and she comes running right over the heart chuck and goes, "Tell me you got a way to get the hell up out of here." I hope to the gods you do. And he goes, "What? Why? What's going on?" And it sort of like dawns on, what the hell did you guys do at the front gate? Tell me, grabs him, do you have another way out of here? And he goes, God damn it, yes, I do. Come on. And he starts leading you. It leads, and we really don't need any of this other stuff right here. He's going to lead you through some of the other rooms to a stairwell that leads up to the second floor that he has. And on that second floor, it's again, now this place is chock full of, and you couldn't really tell from the front, the front room where you were at right there, because it's kind of set up differently. But as you start going through, there's all kinds of crates and barrels and supplies. So this, like he was saying, he's a merchant. And he's supplying things, so he's got like all kinds of different stuff, like dry goods, tack, weapons. I mean, he's like a one-stop shop kind of guy. Goes upstairs to the second floor, and the second floor is like what used to be older bedrooms, but these were, because this was a rich house, very nice, well done, big bedrooms again. But this is some of the nicer goods are up here. And he leads you guys over to one room, and there's a really large, expensive carpet on the floor. And he grabs the corner of it, and he flips it up. And underneath it is a circle of runes painted onto the floor. But it's not just actual paint. It's as if somebody painted with liquid silver onto the floor itself. I hate you so much, Jenna, and that fucker Tobold's gonna owe me big. Said, all right, you gentlemen get on this circle. I'll have my boy here, Penholt, activate it, and it's actually gonna teleport you all to safety. You know what teleporting is? You might feel a little queasy in your stomach when it happens.
So as Raleigh is like torn away from the gnome, he kind of like kicks his foot at the floor, and he's a little pouty. He's like, "Man, I'm never gonna learn magic."
Okay. So at this time, you hear like the front door gets kicked in, and you hear the mob. And you hear the shouting and just the breaking of things. It's as if they unleashed, opened the front door and let a bull run into the china shop. And so Penholt goes, "Well, I suggest you gentlemen hurry. I don't have much time."
I'm in the circle.
Yeah, I'll step into it.
I want to grab that bottle of wine, by the way.
Okay. So as soon as you guys all step in there, Penholt starts making some signs. He says a couple of things, reaching in his pocket, pulls out, and looks like he throws fairy dust at you. The silver lights up, and it as in a circle, as a line, as you guys are in a lighted cylinder. The light grows in intensity to brighter and brighter white light, to the point where it's hurting your eyes and you can't see anything else in the room. And then there's like a flash. And then you guys, your eyes are all sparkling, and you're like, you got the fireworks going off in front of your vision. But there's no floor beneath you anymore. It's not wood. It's grass. There's a wind blowing, and you hear a roll of thunder. And you are on a small hill. And you can see in the far distance a city.
When anyone who cares to notices Raleigh, he's Raleigh again. The jacket is back to the colored one, the hair is normal, and he's Raleigh. And he kind of looks around and he goes, "Guys, I think that was magic."
You're so astute.
Indubitably. Jenna rubs her eyes hard for a little while, and she takes a look. And both Wyndon and Three Toes, it's Rook Roost. And from where you're at, you're roughly about a half a mile away from it, and it is the city, the grand capital, so to speak, unofficial grand capital of the Bandit Kingdoms in the distance.
Unconsciously, I spit in its direction.
It's good to be home.
Yeah, you guys might actually be slightly surprised by that, because that's a little bit of the most emotion you guys have probably seen out of Three Toes.
Yeah,
But did we
I just
actually
assume that
see it?
sometimes people spit.
Yeah, no doubt. Everybody roll, because you probably didn't notice that he spit.
12.
Yeah. Okay.
Wyndon's too caught up in his own thoughts. He's like, didn't think I'd be back here under these circumstances.
Right.
How my old friends are doing.
So true. Okay. So at this point in time, it is starting to get a little bit darker. It wouldn't be as dark as it is, but there is definitely a storm rolling in. And like I said, there's some distant thunder, and Jenna's looking over her shoulder back at it, and she goes, "Now I'm going to get wet too. God damn." Well, no time for the present. I say we hurry up so I can get you guys up in here, and I can go on my merry way. And she just starts walking towards the city.
Nordror's like feeling mutual and follows.
Gotcha. Okay, as you guys are walking, Jenna is talking. She's not looking back at you, but she's talking to you. Wyndon, you're from the Bandit. You're from Rook Roost, right?
Well, I didn't grow up. Well, I spent quite some time there. Yes.
And Skulky, if I remember what Tobo told me, you come from Rook Roost too, right? That's you, Three Toes, I'm talking to.
Oh, he's gone.
No, he's just giving her the silent treatment.
Yes. One could say I'm from here.
Well, when you guys left, how long ago was it? It's been a little bit, huh? Do you know why it's so hard to get in there now? What's going on?
I have some guesses.
Well, you remember Alea, right? Now, Alea was the... I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. She was the person who was in charge of the guild. She was essentially the guild head. Okay?
Okay.
So, you know of her in particular, Wyndon.
Right.
Because of your past associations and stuff. You never met her face to face, though. Okay? But you know of her. She's dead.
Oh.
Do you know of a man named Vig Rashad? Now both of you can go ahead and just give me a roll.
Like
A 20.
history?
Yeah. Well, it's not even so much that. Just give me a D20 roll, because
Okay.
it's not so much history. It's basically rep.
It's okay that you forgot, but I am also from.
Oh, that's
from
right. I'm
Recluse.
sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
And I know.
It makes total sense. I wouldn't have a clue.
That's funny. We both got 20s too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
What a waste.
Okay. Both of you guys know. Actually, no, because basically I'm gonna everything. Since you guys both got 20s, you natted on it. Everything I tell you, you guys know who these people are. Okay. So it appears that after the general was deposed and replaced by Aris Marthoth, and you know who that guy is. Aris is the fiend. And I said, well, not a fiend. He's a Cambion. Is that what he's half fiend?
Okay.
Yep. Half demon's a Cambion.
Yep. Okay, so it is Cambion. Aris is he's a half demon. He is the head of Ayus in Rookroost. What Rookroost used to be is the invasion happened. They hurried up and allied themselves with Ayus because they didn't want to get beat up or in trouble. It's like, oh hey, we're on your side. Everything's cool. Ayus is like, great, business is normal. He starts putting some of his people in there little by little. Not a lot. Not to threaten the city. Business is normal. Let it keep going. Okay. Aris was basically the head of that. He was like the only real visible Ayusian threat in there. There's some Ayusian priests, but Aris was the guy. And then Vig Richard. Vig is basically the only real competitor to Alea, who used to be the head of the guild there. Okay, so now you guys know who that is. So Genesis, after Aris killed the general and set himself up as the total power in Rookroost, well, lady in the guild, well, they had something to say about that because technically Rookroost, that's the guild. It's their place. It's what they do. So everybody tends to think that the Aris had something to do with it, but Big Rashad, he killed Alea, and he didn't just kill Alea. He killed basically everybody that was in the head of the guild, and he didn't really take over the guild. He just showed up out of nowhere with a bunch of other fellas that were helping him out and do an awful lot of killing. Called himself the Black Watch.
Wait, did they kill Genevieve?
Who?
Genevieve.
Who's Genevieve?
Oh God. Never mind.
So basically, what happened was that the guild is no more. They're gone. But there's a lot of cells of the guild still around, and they're trying to get revenge on the Vig and Blackwatch. Things ain't going so well for them. But even more fun than that, well, Aris, he's the head of the Iusians, but everybody knows that Aris wants to just take Rookroost for himself. He's been consolidating his own power, and he's been pulling a bunch of ex-guilders into his camp, what he could, and bringing in mercenaries from all over the place. And it's just one step away from going and blowing up all over.
We get to walk into it. How delightful.
I know, but maybe that's why Topo would want you to go there. I can't say for sure. It's not my place. I don't know. My job is just to get you there, and then to hand you off to your handler. And
I've yet to hear a problem here. The guild's gone. Sounds like good news to me. Where's the downside?
I don't think there is, but if Rookroost is no longer a possession that Ayus can pull from, there's two things really in the Bandit Kingdoms that Ayus is really benefiting from. Well, three. There's Rookroost, there's the silver mines in the Rift, and then there's Toink. That's it. Most of the other stuff he's either got locked down or just destroyed and took what he wanted. So there you go.
Would we know what Toink is?
Stoink. It's another. It's a. I don't know if I'm even saying that correctly. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure
how
it's
it's
Stoink.
spelled.
Stoink, that's how I would pronounce it.
Yeah. Okay. It's Stoink is the second biggest city.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
silver. What's the silver mines?
The Rift.
Yeah, big silver mines.
Yeah. Think of the Grand Canyon. That's what the Rift is, and it's right smack dab in the middle of the Bandit Kingdoms.
And it's like the only real natural wealth in the entirety of the lands.
You got it, pretty much.
So
Pretty
it's
much.
a rift with silver in it, basically.
I bet that's beautiful.
Yep. And it's got a bunch of other stuff in it that's magical and all kinds of different. Yeah. It's a mysterious place. So, all right, gentlemen, that is where we will draw it for a close for the evening.
Awesome.
You guys didn't
Right.
really get into a fight tonight. There was so many maybes. I'm
Not
pretty.
for lack of trying.
Well, I was kind of wondering if you guys would be able to go through and not get yourselves killed. That was a test right there. Silverwolf passed.
Yeah.
Three toes.
It's going to have its ramifications, though.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
We didn't save any slaves. That
Oh God!
We saved
No.
no one.
I gave
You
one
guys-
a dagger. That was about it.
Yeah, you guys saved yourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's always good. That's always good. Good times, good times. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. It's good to be back, everybody, and thank you for watching. If you tuned in to watch the 4th episode, it's good to be back. It's good to get the story rolling again. It's good to torture these guys. So, and I have to say, thank God for 3 toes. Oh, it makes things so much more interesting. I enjoyed every bit of that.
Oh, good Lord.
What I loved the most was I rolled. Those were all rolls to find his ass, and nobody found him. Granted,
So
they
like
had
18 rolls altogether.
Well, yeah, that's exactly
had
how
to-
many rolls there were. Yeah,
You
and
had to
the
roll nat 20, right?
they had to roll in that 20 to find him because he had the 21 on his hide. So, yeah, and I was like, well, somebody will probably see it. But the other thing too is the fact that the arrow just, like I said, it wasn't something like there's a guy sitting there with an arrow sticking out of his head. And to tell you the truth, I just off the whim because of that's just how I described it, and then it just kind of played out that way. So it's the way it is. So.
Cool.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much, and
Yes,
I'll see you guys next Tuesday when you will be entering Rook Roost.
my old stomping grounds.
Yeah, it's 3 of your guys' old stomping
Yep.
grounds.
That's right.
All right.
So-
Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
thanks for
you.
tuning in.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye,
Have a good
everyone.
night.